This is the Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie. And
we love movies.
Oh my goodness, James. Also TV shows. Speaking of, we are going to have a huge breakdown of the latest episode of WandaVision, episode 5. This has just broken the floodgates. It's breaking my brain.
This is breaking my brain. Yeah, the multiverse. This is really a big step, not only in the MCU storyline, but also in filmmaking and studio making history. And so, WandaVision, leaps and bounds over, expectations when this thing first rolled out. And it's amazing. I love it. Can't wait to get into it. So we will get into WandaVision, also local casting calls. And you know what? It is Super Bowl Sunday, or as I like to call it, Superb Owl Sunday. And so on this week's episode, we will recommend our favorite Super Bowl or football movies out there. American football, the real American football.
Yeah, I like to call it the Tom Brady Invitational because it's Tom Brady and whoever he invites to the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady
honestly. Gala.
There's a new controversy with Tom Brady. There's a new Deflategate. Apparently, he's using the same headshot he's used since like 2014. Same headshot for his Tampa Bay Super Bowl headshot. And so, I think this is the new Deflategate. This may be the thing that brings down Tom Brady.
Well, he likes the picture.
But he keeps claiming that he's ageless. He's doing this amazing diet. He drinks 20 gallons of water a day. It's all smoke and mirrors. But anyway,
maybe he's part of the multiverse. And he just keeps bringing young Tom Brady back to play the Super Bowl and whatnot. And they're just switching back and forth. We can work on our theories on that one later.
We'll save that for the Hub on Patriot podcast that we have coming up. Thank you so much for watching. You were watching the Hub on Hollywood, and if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, thank you so much. Please smash that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that share. Thank you so much. You can also listen to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. We're also on social media.
Exactly. We are on the Facebooks. We are on the Twitters. We are on Instagram. Just search Hub on Hollywood. And if you need entertainment news, a little bit of effects, a little bit of funny, we're the touchdown you're looking for.
We're the home run. We are the home run. We're the grand slam.
I'm trying to keep it football.
I know.
Okay. Tells you how much we know about sports.
No, again, we'll get into our sports picks later, but for you and I, or at least for me, I love sports. Not the biggest sports movie fan, and so we'll get into more of that, but let's get into WandaVision, because this last episode 5, it has not only torn reality in the MCU world, but also in
our world,
in our real literal world. But let's get right into it, because if you're watching this, you've probably watched the episode, so spoilers all ahead.
Spoilers.
The first thing I want to get into right off the bat, the ending of this episode. We were getting a hint, and I was feeling a hint that we were going to get this big cameo during this episode, but not the cameo that I was expecting. But at the very end, we have a guest at the Wanda and Vision residence, and that is none other than Fox Studios' version of Quicksilver. He appears at the very end of the episode. Wanda's brother, Pietro, in this MCU universe, he's dead. And apparently the story goes, from what we're being told so far, is that Wanda can't bring back the dead. And so it looks like she has literally reached into another multiverse, into another studio, and grabbed that character, that person, that mutant, and brought them into the MCU, which is groundbreaking.
It is. It's phenomenal. It's whoa. Once I started thinking about it and what this means, I think I read an article that put it pretty succinctly. They're like, this is a $71 billion cameo here, okay? Because Disney acquired 20th Century Fox, and which owns the other studio, and that's where the X-Men are. And so the X-Men version of this sibling duo is they're X-Men. They are Magneto's children. Okay, or at least Pietro, Quicksilver, is Magneto's son, and then in that version, Wanda's a little girl or whatnot. And as you mentioned, the Pietro in the MCU is dead, and so they, I guess, are deciding to bring in MCU. They're deciding to bring in the X-Men Quicksilver in this mind-melding kind of mashup here. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Is my question. Is he still an X-Men? Did Wanda actually do this? Because earlier in the episode, her children, who have aged up to age 10 in one day, are telling her, Mommy, fix it. You can bring back the dead. You can do it. You can do this. And then she gets a very thoughtful look about her, and she doesn't think that she can bring back the dead, but maybe in her wishing and in her continued grief, maybe she tore open the multiverse and brought over this version of her brother, which does not look like her brother. And the folks that are watching from S.W.O.R.D. are like, oh my God, she recast her brother.
Yeah, which was a great joke, like a double meta joke, which is great. Yeah,
super meta, super meta, but it is essentially a recasting, but it is also has huge implications for the future of all of the movies, all of the TV shows, and I can see now how this is going to be a great segue into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We just still don't know how this is all happening and how it started. James, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is building into we're going into the direction of building Wanda into the next Phase 4 villain of the MCU, and I see this. So? I see this going down with Wanda, because in the comics, there's a point where Wanda decides to make all mutants disappear, and so I think this is going to be the opposite effect, where she's making mutants appear and maybe grabbing them from the other alternative timeline or the Fox or 20th Century Fox and bringing them back over here. And then that's how this MCU gets mutants. And so this means very likely that we're going to see MCU characters like Thor, the Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to see them interacting possibly with Michael Fassbender's Magneto, Hugh Jackman's Logan. Even though you said he's not going to do any more Logan, it's very possible now he may come back. And this is the biggest thing. Technically, and the MCU characters could be hanging out with Deadpool. So Spider-Man and Deadpool, and those two have a very deep history on in the comic book level. And so imagine Deadpool in the MCU messing around with Thor and all those other people. But the implications of what this does, or what happened at the end of WandaVision, has a lot of implications in the MCU world and in the real studio world. So we're going to see a lot of crossover possible action. I think Wanda is going to be going down the path of eventually losing her twins or either losing them, because I think there's a subplot where somebody, possibly Agnes, is trying to get Wanda's children or obtain Wanda's children and use them for themselves. I feel like they're going to be taken away from her, or either that or they're not real, and Wanda loses her mind, which is what we saw in the comics, and then she becomes the main villain, which leads to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which could lead to, if she's bringing characters from around, that could lead to Spider-Man 3, and then Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man coming in. And so they're laying down a really distinct groundwork and framework for the next 2-3 movies.
Sure. I think it's really interesting what they're pulling from the comics. My understanding is that in the comics, Wanda wants to have children with Vision, but can't. And so she makes a deal with Mephisto, with this character called Mephisto, who's like the devil of the MCU or something like that, so that she can have the twins, so that she can have these twins with Vision. And then, so I don't know if they're going to do that sort of timeline or that storyline, and whether or not the children are real, because maybe this all started when, as we see in this episode, S.W.O.R.D. had Vision's body. And this pissed off Wanda. My understanding is Vision did not want his body to be used as a weapon and whatnot. And for some reason, S.W.O.R.D. had the body. And so Wanda steals back his corpse, reanimates it somehow, So, and now this version of Vision is stuck in the show with him. He's starting to slowly realize that this is not okay, that this is not like the real world. There's something wrong here. He talks with one of the residents at his job, one of his coworkers, who he manages to break from Wanda's control for enough time to realize that Wanda is controlling everybody, that it's akin to psychological torture, and that something is not right. And he confronts Wanda about this. Which is a very intense scene. Yeah.
Very intense. This is the best Paul Bettany and the best Vision acting and perform and just the Vision character, I think, since in all the movies combined. Like Paul Bettany, you can feel the pain, and he says at one point that he's afraid of what's going on because he's so confused and he knows that Wanda's behind all this, and you could feel that raw emotion when he realizes what's going on, telling Wanda that this is wrong and he has to stop. And so this is, again, like I said last week. Yeah. Last week was my favorite episode. The week before that was my favorite episode. This is my favorite episode.
Well, speaking
one of the
of
best,
that,
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to interject real quick because that moment that you're talking about with Vision when he's confronting Wanda and he's saying, "Look, I'm sure this started subconsciously. He's giving her the benefit of the doubt, but it's not going the right way. What if it wasn't subconscious? What if she steals back his body and was in so much grief that she made a deal with Mephisto or whatever and started this own reality of herself of her own, kidnapped this town so that she could have everything that she wants?" Because that's what she tells the sword people when she confronts them later in the episode. She's like, I have everything I want. Which is a great scene, by the way. Yeah, that was amazing also. It's like, I have everything I want. There's nothing that you can give me. This is what I want. I want my family, and I want to be left alone.
I think I've heard the Mephisto character in the comics. That's how she makes his deal. Of having the children, and I have seen that theory floating around. I've also heard the theory that Disney may not go that route just because the devil and Disney family friendly kind of a thing. So they may not want to go that route. But I do like the idea that she kind of made a deal with something or somebody. Possibly, I think maybe Agnes somehow, and Agnes is trying to use Wanda to get her children, and that might be that theory. Maybe. She did at one point say she was telling Vision that she doesn't remember how this started so that could lead into someone else is pulling the strings, and or she made a deal which led to this creation of this town or her ability to control everything, and she kind of reset also in a way to forget what happened. So that's I think that's a potential strong theory.
Can we just talk about how messed up it is to reanimate Vision's dead body and be walking around pretending with it?
Dropped. My jaw was dropped when I saw the footage. It was insane.
That moment when she sees him talking but dead with the hole in his head, and like that's probably what he actually looks like, and she's just pretending that he looks differently. And then, for a moment, she just forgot to change the way that he looked. So it is really messed up. This is really, really messed up.
That's why I think they're laying the framework for having Wanda become the next villain. And like every good or great villain, like Thanos, they have a compelling backstory or they have a reason to do what they're doing. And for Wanda, she has her whole life has been a tragedy. She and her brother, her family was killed during a bombing, and you had Tony Stark missiles that were responsible for it. And again, like if you've seen the episode, which you should have seen the episode if you're watching this. But she mentions that she and her brother were trapped after the bombing, and there's a missile that was blinking and basically ready to go off at any moment. And so that's a scarring moment. Getting indoctrinated by Hydra, that's a scarring moment. Losing her brother, losing Vision, not only having to kill him at one point, but also seeing Thanos kill him twice, that's a scarring experience. And so you are understanding where Wanda's coming from, even though she's doing these bad things. And so I think they're really laying the framework for having her be the main big bad. And again, just the ability to wipe away any reality she wants and make a new one, is going to inquire or need the forces of the X-Men or maybe the Fantastic Four. Maybe that mysterious aerospace engineer that Monica Rambeau was texting is Reed Richards, who is with the Fantastic Four. That's a rumor that's going around. Let me just not to wrap up, but one of my favorite moments of this was the opening of the show, of this episode, where they had the show intro, kind of like the Family Matters, Family Ties kind of intro, with the singing, the minute and 30-second long intro, and I was like laughing the entire time as that credit scene was rolling out. I love that part, and I thought they've been really nailing each era of the sitcom from the 1940s and 50s to through the 70s to it looks like late 80s, early 90s. So I love this episode.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite moments is just the Vision confronting Wanda. And there's just the subtlety of it. Elizabeth Olsen is just knocking it out of the park. Paul Bettany also, as you said. But it's just the subtlety of this one moment where they're talking, and Vision's like, I'm scared. You cannot control me the way that you control everyone else. And she just says, can't I?
Yeah.
Can't I? I'm like, shit. That is this is someone that you love, you know. And then that is just a little spark of evil. And it's just so well done. It's so well done. So I think that they're paving, like you said, a possible descent into villainy just so well. Just so well. And I am loving it. And again, way more excited about it now than I was at the beginning. I had my misconceptions. I wasn't really sure about this when the show started, but now I'm like, hey, this is awesome.
No, this show is awesome, and they are really great at changing tone, because you go from these cliche sitcom-y tropes that you're rolling your eyes over one moment, and then the very next moment it's serious, and the mood. Everybody tenses up. There's a very uneasiness.
You
can
feel it.
You could really feel it. They're really good at doing this. The part where Agnes, she's about to take care of the twins, and Vision goes, no, don't do it. And then again, character drop. And again, that's why I think there's more to this. I think she was expecting Wanda to reset. I think she was expecting that, and because Wanda didn't do that, that's when Agnes was like, okay, well, do you want us to reset? Because, again, when things haven't gone perfectly how Wanda wants before, she'll just reset it, and they'll do the take again. I think Agnes was a little surprised, and maybe that's why she was like, okay, so what's going on now?
She's a little too aware. She's like the most aware character in this town. I think you might have something going on there with her also, but
again,
amazing.
This opens the door for everything. It's amazing.
Yes. What were your thoughts? What were your reactions? What do you think is going to happen? What are your theories? What's going on here? How did it start? Where is it going? We want to have this discussion with you.
I'm excited.
Go ahead and write it in the comments below. Tweet us, Facebook us, find us anywhere and join the conversation, because this is so cool.
I seriously can't wait for the next episode. I love what they're doing with this, and this is just hyping me up more for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man 3. And it's amazing. This is great television, great movie making. It is phenomenal,
and it's all tight. And I just don't remember this ever being done before. You have movies and now being so intertwined with television, and it's just all seamless, and you get more of the backstory. That's the problem with movies, is that you don't get as much of the extra, and this is how they're solving it with the main characters from the movies, and I just think it's brilliant. And as long as it's making money for them, they're going to keep doing it, and I am here. I'm living for it. I'm here for it. I love it.
Now, I got to be a little cynical, because you know what? I just got to be. Now, this is great on a MCU story level, on a history of merging different franchises together. But at the same time, you think about it, what's driving all this? Disney. And now Disney, they've acquired, of course. Now, it's no secret they bought the 20th Century Fox, and with that, the X-Men property. So we knew this was going to happen. But it kind of just reinforces, Disney is going to eventually own all the superheroes in DC, Marvel, and I'm sure even more obscure comic makers.
That's what I was trying. That was the word I was trying to think of in last episode. They're monopolizing it. They're monopolizing the superhero industry, the movie industry. you know, at some point they're going to be, I think they're going to be facing some antitrust issues here because they're just gobbling everything up.
And
they
it is weird too because it is weird though, because how do you do it with characters, a character, as opposed to like, a movie or a property or something like that? Like, these are characters that span different formats and everything. So how do you, I don't know, control that? I don't know. And so, but again, on an entertainment level, on a fan base level, this is the best thing since sliced bread, since Betty White. But on a looking at this from a movie industry or just industry level, and even corporation level, Disney's getting very powerful, almost even more as powerful as Wanda. But yes, let us know your theories. I'm hooked. I've been hooked since the very beginning of WandaVision. Can't wait for the rest of it. So let us know. Comment down below. But
speaking of the movie industry, James, we want to get you in a movie. It'll probably be a Disney one because Disney owns everything. But we have casting calls. If you live in the New England region, we've got a bunch of movies that have started back up filming right now. A George Clooney flick. He's directing a movie called The Tender Bar. They're looking for folks. They're casting through Boston Casting. If you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up for Boston Casting. There's also a couple of more. James, why don't you hit a few and I'll hit a few?
Yeah, so we have Boston Casting. We are looking for, this is for a feature film, and we're looking for cars. We're looking for cars from the 1960s to early 1980s. This is for a project that shoots multiple days from February 22nd through March 14th. This is paid, of course. You're being asked to email your photo of your car, the model, the make, the year, the name, your name rather, contact information. Send all that to Boston Casting Submit 9. The number 9, submit, Boston Casting Submit 9 at gmail.com. And then we also have another one for, we have a CP casting. This is for a project where we're looking for a biracial girl, ages between 8 and 11 years old. This is for a speaking role in a movie. Now, this is taking place for a Amazon feature film, shooting here in Massachusetts over a period of several days in April. So you have a little bit of time, but again, you want to send in those resumes ASAP. Send your name, phone, your child's date of birth, height, where you folks live, acting resume, experience, headshots. Send that to cpcastingsubmission@gmail.com. cpcastingsubmission@gmail.com.
Okay, so, and Boston Casting is looking for guys who can walk on their hands. You got to be over 21 years old for a commercial that's shooting in late March in the Boston area. They're looking for a photo and resume, a video of you walking on your hands and where you're from, and send that information to Boston Casting Submit 4@gmail.com. And CP Casting is looking for Asian men 50 to 80 years old for a Netflix movie. This is for Don't Look Up. That's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and a whole slew of other extremely famous people. You must appear to be Chinese and between the ages of 50 and 80. Each person is going to make about $2,000. This is good. This is a good money one. So, you would be paid to live in their hotel every day until shoot date. So this is one of those where, you have to be sequestered for like 10 days before you work. And, there's a lot of ways that different companies are out there, production companies, trying to keep everyone safe. And we've talked about that a bunch on previous episodes. But if you're available for this opportunity, they want your name, phone number, email, height, weight, and a few pictures sent to judithbooleyextras@gmail.com. That's Judith, BOULEY extras@gmail.com. Okay. And that's it. That's it,
all
folks.
Right.
We want to see you out there. I want to see you in that commercial. I want to see you in the next movie. So many opportunities coming to Boston, James. That's why we are called the Hub on Hollywood. People consider us Hollywood East. And, man, keep bringing them here. Adam Driver is my next request. If we could just get Adam down here, I'd love to work with him.
Yeah, we'll just call him, get him on the phone, talk to his agent. No big deal.
Call me.
Call me, maybe. Let me talk about good calls. And what do they do in football? They throw good calls, bad calls. refs are blind, more cliches. I don't know.
Yeah, you can tell how much we know about sports.
Yeah, it is Super Bowl Sunday right now, and right after this, we're gonna eat some buffalo wings and watch some Tom Brady win his 20th championship. But before and after that, if you want to stay in the football mood, we got some football recommendations. Now, like I said in the beginning, I love sports. I love football. I love baseball. But I'm not a big fan of football or baseball movies. It just doesn't draw me. But there are a few that I do like. That's a little less on the sports, but more on the the funny stuff.
The human story,
The human, the humor, all that. So my first football recommendation is The Waterboy, starring Adam Sandler.
That was
Kathy
mine.
Bates. Is it? Henry Winkler. All right, so that's both of ours. That's Jamie and James's recommendation, The Waterboy. Waterboy for a college football team discovers he has a unique tackling ability and becomes a member of the team. Kathy Bates, amazing in this movie. Adam Sandler, Henry Winkler. One of my, I would say, top Adam Sandler films. I guess maybe of that era. Now, I think he's transitioned a little bit to other stuff, but... he still does very silly stuff, but of that era, I would say Waterboy is really up there.
Adam Sandler, Local Boy.
You can't get Adam Driver out of your mind.
Get Adam Driver off my mind. Can we just put a picture of Adam Driver here?
No, we'll just put it right here.
Okay. Anyways, but Adam Sandler, Local Boy, and just so many things that came out of The Waterboy that I still say today, like you can do it and stuff like that. So, yes, that was also my number one recommendation for a football movie. Another funny one, James. I don't know if this is on your list, but Not Another Teen Movie. I don't know if you ever saw that, but it's got
I love that movie.
Yes, it addresses all the cliches, all the high school football movie cliches. It makes fun of Rudy. It makes fun of a bunch of them. So that's my other one because
and you have Captain America.
Oh yeah,
Captain America,
yes,
Chris Evans
Chris
in
Evans,
Not Another Teen Movie.
Another Boston boy who's also, and that's how I know him, James. That's how I know him, is walking around with the shaving cream on his private parts,
with a banana.
That's the Chris Evans I know.
Again, Captain America. I mean? That is America's ass, and that's the first time we saw America's ass with a banana in a very unfortunate place. But yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah, I think you could argue it's a football movie. They got quite a bit of football in there.
Yeah,
Chris Evans is the quarterback.
You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
Yeah, you're my boy, Blue. My next and final football recommendation movie is the 2000. I wouldn't say it's a cult classic, but I think it's a more appreciated movie. The Replacements, starring Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman. And this one, I really enjoyed in the movie theaters. Pretty much this fictional Washington Nationals, I think that's the football team in the NFL. The players, they go on strike, and so but the play must go on, the show must go on, and so these replacements, including Keanu Reeves, these are like college athlete washouts that really weren't good enough to make it to the big league. Well, the whole team goes on strike, so they had to bring in the replacements, and among them is Keanu Reeves, who comes in to play the quarterback. And this is a really funny one. You have a really good dance montage with the team while they're all in jail. Just fun hijinks all around. So the Replacements, I recommend that.
And then, of course, if we want to watch a serious film, and this is maybe the only sports movie I ever liked, and it is football. Remember the Titans, starring Denzel Washington. The true story of a newly appointed African-American coach and his high school team in their first season as a racially integrated unit, in the age of segregation and all of this. So it's just an amazing movie. It's based on a true story. Love, Remember the Titans. These are all great films to get you psyched up for Super Bowl.
Do you want to hear some controversy?
Tonight. Some controversy, sure.
Yes. Now, I have seen Remember the Titans. It was a good movie. I'm not as crazy about it. For some reason, all my friends, everybody I know loves that movie. And again, I'm not knocking it. It's a good movie. But I think it just hit other people harder than it hit me. Or when I watched it, I don't know. But yeah, it's a good movie. But I'm not like in love with it as many of the populace apparently seems to be.
Well, Send all of your hate mail to James Rojas at
yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Send it to howabouhollywood.com.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Well,
no, I'm
really
kidding.
quick. So this is the actual Super Bowl. By the time this makes the airwaves, we will have a Super Bowl winner. So who do you think is going to win? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, or the Kansas City Chiefs?
I'm glad you told me the names of the teams, because I honestly to God don't know.
You're like the A team or the B team?
Yeah, I think a year or a few years ago, I guessed it was like, oh, it's the Kansas City Kangaroos, because I couldn't guess what their mascot was or whatever. But I mean, it's gonna be Tom. It's got to be Tom. It's got to be Tom. That's my guess. Just so that he can show everyone that he is not only the GOAT, but he can be the GOAT wherever he goes. Does he have to? No. Is he going to? Probably.
It's a you know what? I could see it both ways. It's a good story. Yeah, Tom going out again. But after this, he says, he could see himself playing now well beyond 45 years old. And so if that's so, if he wins, that's only going to encourage him. Yeah. And do we need more Tom Brady? Do we need more wins from him? Or Patrick Mahomes? He's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the young buck. He's the young gun, and he's very good. Yeah. And so, or would that be the fairy tale ending? Where, yes, he has already won a Super Bowl. They are the defending champs. But going up against, the GOATs. I think it might be cool. But
I think it wasn't... No, go, sorry.
No, so I think the Bucs are going to win. However, again, a little more controversy. I'm going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh.
You've heard it here, folks. But again,
goodness.
by the time people hear this, they're going to know who won, and they're going to know whether I'm right or I'm wrong. But by then, who cares?
Exactly. Yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna wear my Dallas Cowboy jersey.
I hope you guys had a lot of chicken wings and and had your nice socially distant and fun parties. And the vaccines are coming soon. We're gonna have so much fun in the summer and the fall and in the coming years here. So this is kind of like, I feel like it's the last big event, before most people start getting vaccinated. And God, there's so much hope for the future, James. There's so much hope for the future.
We are in the red zone right now. We are driving home to the touchdown to the goal line. And once we get that first dose, we're going to get the extra kick. That's the second dose. And then we're all going to be vaccinated.
Get the home run. Score the goal point unit.
Get the goal.
Go sports.
Go sports. Go movies. Go The Hub on Hollywood. Go like us. Go subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. Bye. Don't hate us.
Bye. Touchdown. Woo!